日本の発明は世界に計り知れない影響を与えてきたんだ。古来からの発明、例えば和紙や鉄鋼の技術から現代のゲーム、カメラ、アニメ、日本は常に進化の中心だった。そして日常生活を根本から変え、日本の創造性と前進する精神に敬意を表します。
Throughout history, Japan has created some of civilization's most important inventions. From weaponry to electronics, their inventions permeate our culture, entertainment, and everyday life. In modern times, they've been pioneers in the technology sector, creating devices that we now take for granted. It's safe to say the world wouldn't be the same without them. Curious to see what Japan has contributed to society? Well, I'm Mike with List 25, and here are 25 most incredible Japanese inventions throughout history. 25. Rickshaw. Have you seen those carts powered by people that carry other people around? This clever and simple invention is called a rickshaw, and it was first invented by the Japanese in 1860. It was an inexpensive and popular mode of transportation at that time. It also got to be a great way to stay in shape. 24. Instant ramen. Love instant ramen noodles? Well, you can thank the Japanese for this amazing invention. Momofuku Ando invented it after seeing the destruction caused by World War II. Chicken ramen was first sold in 1958, and college dorms have never been the same.
過去とかでも話したことあるけど、日本にずっと憧れていて、日本語を勉強したくて貧乏だったから参考書を買うことも苦しくて、食事を減らすしか方法がなかったからさ、2日に1食のインスタント麺を茹でて、なんとか日本語の参考書を買ったんだよ。その時は日本製のカップ麺は高くてなかなか買えなかったな。でもまさかインスタント麺の発明が日本だったなんて、体に良くないって怒られたりしそうだけど、私は助かったよ。
23. The novel. The Tale of Genji, written in 11th century Japan, is considered the first novel ever written. It was written by a woman named Murasaki Shikibu, and is about a handsome aristocrat and his many romances. 22. Katana. While it's believed an earlier version of the katana sword was brought over to Japan from China, the version we know today was made much lighter and master-crafted by the Japanese, and used by samurai warriors. It first appeared in the Muromachi period from 1392 to 1573. Now, if we were at my house, I have an actual katana. But this'll do. It's probably just as dangerous. 21. Imari Porcelain. Invented in Japan in the 16th century, Imari Porcelain was a popular export by the Dutch East Indian Trading Company. It was discovered and made by the potter Rickshaw. 20. Microcomputer. The Sword SMP-8008, invented and developed in 1972, was the first microcomputer. While it was an initial failure and never went into production, it was a great leap forward for computers. 19. Walkman. While the technology had been around for a while, Sony figured out how to put cassette tapes into a compact box that would let you listen to music on the go. They called it the Walkman, and released it in 1979. The device helped cassette tapes outsell vinyl for the first time in history. 18. Lean manufacturing. Developed by Toyota in post-World War II Japan, the lean manufacturing system, or just-in-time system, came out of studying Ford's manufacturing system, but adjusting it to fit their own needs. The goal of the system was to reduce waste while maintaining productivity. It's now a fairly commonplace system.
1983年、一つのビジョンがマレーシアの未来を変えようとしていたよ。それは、自国の自動車ブランドを創出し、国の工業化を加速する夢プロトン、そして親日家として有名なマハティール。プロトンの設立は、彼のルック、イースト政策の一環であり、マレーシアを工業国へと変貌させるための重要なステップだったよ。マハティールの全力の支援を受け、プロトンは国民車プロジェクトの先駆けとして誕生。でも、成功への道のりは簡単なものではないよ。そのため三菱自動車が力を貸したんだ。プロトンは三菱のおかげで必要な技術、設計、製造ノウハウを手に入れた。1985年、プロトンはプロトン、 サガを発売し、その成功がマレーシアの自動車産業における新たな章を開いたんだ。その車は三菱、ランサーフィオーレを元にしたことでね、日本、そして三菱が手を差し伸べたことで、マハティールとマレーシアが作り出せた車プロトン、サガなんだよ。
17. CDs, DVDs, and Blu-ray. Compact discs were invented by both Sony and Philips, which is a Dutch company. They debated the smaller details, but eventually agreed on what we have today, an 115mm disc that holds 74 minutes of storage. Of course, later, Sony would go on to develop both DVDs and wage war against HD DVD with their superior Blu-ray disc. 16. Programmable drum machine. Invented by Ikutaro Kakahashi, the Roland TR-808 was the first programmable drum machine. When it hit the market in 1980, it revolutionized music and was particularly popular for its bass drum. The 808, sound familiar? 15. Karaoke. The karaoke machine was invented by Daisuke Inoue in 1969, but he didn't have a product to go to market until 1971. At first, it wasn't the biggest hit, but eventually, bars all over Japan wanted them. And while he did invent the machine, he technically never invented the term karaoke. It came from the phrase Karaoke Sutra, which means empty orchestra. It was shortened to karaoke and stuck. 14. Emoji. You have the Japanese to thank for those emoji on your phone. Created by Shigetaka Kurita and his team at company NTT Docomo, he grew frustrated with using only text as a way to communicate information. They developed images to represent emotions as the solution. 13. Camcorder. While handheld video recording devices had been around since the 50s, Sony released the very first camcorder in 1983. It recorded everything on a Betamax tape, and was much simpler than previous ways of recording movies. 12. Electric rice cooker. The first electric rice cookers were invented by Toshiba in 1955. The cooker totally revolutionized Japanese households by 1960, and by 1970, they continued to evolve, with microcomputers capable of adjusting temperatures. There's no rice in here. 11. Camera phone. Today, having a camera on your mobile phone is commonplace, but back in 1999, it was unheard of. Kyocera Corporation, the Japanese company, released the first cell phone with a camera. They called it the Visual Phone VP210, and it could store up to 20 JPEG images. So many. 10. Portable EKG. For those with heart problems, the EKG became much easier to carry around thanks to the Japanese. In 1937, Tao Takemi invented the first portable electrocardiogram machine. Many of the same basic principles of the machine are still in use today. 9. Pocket calculator. Calculators have been around for a long time, but the first microchip-based pocket calculator was invented by the Japanese company Busicom in 1970. It was called the Busicom LE120 Handy. 8. Blue LED light. 3 Japanese inventors, Isamu Akasaki, Hiroshi Amano, and Shuji Nakamura, made the first blue light-emitting diode in the 1990s, which propelled all the LED products we see today. They later received the Nobel Peace Prize for their invention. 7. Lithium Ion Battery. In Japan, Asahi Kasei did significant work on the rechargeable lithium ion battery technology, modifying earlier studies done on it, and with the help of Sony Corporation, allowed it to reach the consumer marketplace. 6. QR code. While you might use a QR code now to get information about a company or product, originally it was invented in 1994 by a Toyota subsidiary called Denso Wave to help with the manufacturing process. 5. CRISPR. While no one technically invented CRISPR, a powerful gene editing technique, in 1987, Yoshizumi Ishino and his team at Osaka University discovered it. Unfortunately, at the time, they didn't really understand what they had discovered. However, their study laid the groundwork for what was to come. 4. 3D printing. 3D printing might seem like a new phenomenon, but the technology has been around for a while. In 1981, at the Nagoya Municipal Industrial Research Institute, Hideo Kodama published his idea of a rapid prototyping system using photopolymers. It was the first concept for a 3D printer. 3. Bullet train. Trains lost steam in the United States after the invention of the car. However, in Japan, they came back in a big way. Japan invented and unveiled the first high-speed rail line, or the bullet train, from Tokyo to Osaka in 1964. This invention gained worldwide popularity, especially in densely populated areas in need of fast mass transit. 2. Flash memory. Flash memory, which isn't the ability to recall facts about the flash, allows your cell phones and smartphones to store data like music, pictures, and video. Without it, you can kiss your smartphone goodbye. Fujio Masaoka, who worked at Toshiba at the time, invented flash memory in 1984 to solve the problem of storing and holding data whether a device was turned on or off. 1. Android robots. Developed at Waseda University in Japan, the world's first Android robot was called Wabot 1. It was made in 1970, had artificial ears, a mouth, and eyes, and was able to lift objects.
日本は古代から発明の国なんだよ。浮世絵は17世紀から19世紀にかけて発展し、印象派の巨匠ゴッホなどにも影響を与えたんでしょ。そして日本独自の染色技法は色鮮やかな布地を生み出し、着物文化に大きな影響を与えた。茶の湯は単なるお茶を飲む行為以上に昇華したよ。精神的な禅であったり美意識を育む日本独自の文化だよ。言い出したらキリがないほどでしょ。日本庭園だって自然を模倣し、石、水、植物を巧みに配置することで美しさと静けさを演出するよ。世界の富裕層にとって日本の庭園は憧れなんだって。やっぱり日本っていいな。ありがとうマストゥラ。今日も最後までご覧いただきありがとうございます。もし動画が気に入っていただけたらチャンネル登録といいねボタンを押してくださいね。次回もお楽しみに。さようなら。